She was 7 years old and had blood on her hands. Edge didn't even know her name yet, but he already knew that everything that came after would change everything. And it did. The problem wasn't what she had seen. It was what was still happening at that very moment, less than 400 meters away. That child shouldn't have been alone on that road. And Edge's motorcycle headlight. It wasn't an accident. It was her last hope before something worse than fear became real. If you believe, there are people willing to risk everything for those who have no one else. Sign up now and leave a comment. Where are you watching this from? Because this story needs to be heard. Edge Rider was stopped on the shoulder of Highway 9 in South Texas, trying to fix an oil leak on his Harley when he felt the touch. It wasn't an ordinary touch. It was the kind of touch that comes with desperation clinging to your fingertips. He turned slowly. The girl was no more than 7 years old. Dirty dress, barefoot, swollen eyes, and her hands. Christ. Her hands were trembling so much that Edge thought she was going to faint right there. She didn't say anything at first. She just looked at him as if she were calculating whether he was safe or just another threat. Edge lowered himself slowly and put the wrench on the ground. He took off his helmet. He let her see his face. Scars, unshaven, tired eyes. Nothing heroic about him. Just a man who had seen too much to pretend he wasn't seeing it. "Hey, little one," he said, his voice hoarse but soft. "Everything's all right now." She shook her head. No, everything was not all right. "There are people there," she whispered. Her voice was so thin that Edge could barely hear it because of the wind. "There are people there and they won't let anyone leave." Edge felt a chill run down his spine. It wasn't fear, it was recognition. He'd heard it before. In another state, another road, another child. And this time he'd arrived too late. "Where, little one? Where are there people?" She pointed. To the opposite side of the road, past the broken fence, past the dead cornfield. Straight to the gray building Edge had passed dozens of times without ever really noticing. An old warehouse, an abandoned factory, or so it seemed. "How many people?" Edge asked. "Many," she said, and she began to cry. "My sister is there." Edge closed his eyes for a second. Just one. When he opened them, he already knew he wasn't leaving. Not that night. Not without going to that place. Not without seeing with his own eyes what had made a 7-year-old child run alone for miles on a deserted road in the middle of the night. He picked up his cell phone. No signal. Of course. It was always like that. The girl tugged at his sleeve. "Don't call the police," she said. "They said that if you call the police, they'll kill everyone." Edge swallowed hard. "Who are they, little one?" She didn't answer. She just looked at the building again. And Edge saw something in her eyes that he knew well. Pure terror. The kind that doesn't invent. The kind that doesn't exaggerate. He picked up his helmet. Put it back on. Started the motorcycle. "Go up," he said. She went upstairs without hesitation, as if she already knew he was her only chance. And as the Harley cut through the night toward that gray shed, Edge Rider was certain he was about to enter the kind of situation where you either come out a hero or you don't. Edge stopped the motorcycle about 200 meters from the shed. He turned off the engine. Absolute silence. Not a cricket. Not a wind. Only the sound of the girl's accelerated breathing clinging to his back. He got off first. He helped her down afterward. She was trembling so much that Edge took off his own leather jacket and put it on her shoulders. It was too big. She almost disappeared inside the black leather. "What's your name?" Edge asked, crouching in front of her. "Lily." "Lily. Beautiful. I am Edge." She nodded, but she didn't. Smile. Children who go through certain things forget how to smile. Edge knew this. Lily, I need you to stay here, hidden, behind this tree. Don't make a sound, don't leave, I'll be back. What if you don't come back? The question came quickly, directly, as if she had done this before for other people and no one had ever responded. Edge cupped her face in both hands, gently, as if she were made of glass. I'll be back, he said, and for the first time in years, Edge Rider made a promise he didn't know if he could keep. He stood up. He started walking toward the shed. The moon was high, full. It illuminated everything with that cold, bluish light that makes everything look like a scene from a bad movie. Edge passed by the fence. He stepped on dry earth, shards of glass, old trash, and then he saw it. Movement. A shadow darted past one of the broken second-story windows. Edge stopped. Heart racing, hand instinctively reaching for the handle of the knife he always carried in his boot. He waited, breathing controlled, eyes fixed, more movement, this time on the ground floor. Someone walking, heavy footsteps, boots, more than one person. And then he listened. A muffled cry. He wasn't an adult. He was a child, maybe more than one. Edge felt his jaw clench, his hands tighten, his blood boil. He knew that sound. He knew it all too well. It was the sound of someone who has lost hope, of someone who no longer believes that anyone will show up. He took 3 more steps, and stopped again, because he heard something else, a voice, deep, masculine, irritated. If she ran away, you go after her, now. But it's dark. I said now. Silence. Then quick footsteps, someone leaving. Door slamming. Edge backed away slowly. He returned to the tree where he had left Lily. She was still there, her eyes wide, trembling. They know you escaped, Edge said quietly. She started crying again. They'll find me. They won't. Yes, they will. They always find a way. Edge lowered. Himself again. He held her shoulders. Lily, look at me. She looked. And in that look, Edge saw everything. The pain, the fear, the loneliness, the certainty that no one cared. That she was invisible, disposable, and something inside him broke. No one will hurt you again, he said. I swear. And as he swore the oath, Edge Rider knew that promise meant war, and he was ready. Lily was sitting leaning against the tree, hugging her knees, when Edge returned with his motorcycle hidden behind a clump of dry bushes. He sat down beside her, not too close, just close enough for her to know she wasn't alone. The wind had completely stopped. The silence was so heavy that Edge could hear his own heart beating. Your sister, he said slowly. What's her name? Emma. How many years? 5. Edge closed his eyes. 5 years. Damn it. Lily, I need you to tell me everything from the beginning. How did you and Emma end up in there? She didn't answer right away. She just stared at the floor. At her own dirty foot, broken toenail, scratches on her legs. Edge waited. He knew that pressuring her wouldn't work. A traumatized child doesn't speak when you tell them to. They speak when you trust them. And then she spoke. My mother died 2 months ago. Her voice was so low that Edge had to lean in to hear it. We lived in a trailer on the other side of town. After she died, a woman showed up. She said she was from social services. She said she was going to take care of us. She took us to, a big house. There were other children. The woman was nice at first. She gave us food. She let us watch TV. Lily paused. She swallowed hard. But then men started coming. Men who would stare. Who would ask for names, ages. Who would take pictures. Edge felt the anger rise in his throat like bile. And then they took you to this warehouse. She nodded. It's been 5 days. 5 days. How many children are in there, Lily? I counted 8, but there's a 4th one I've never been inside. I think there are more. 8, at least. Edge ran a hand over his face. He tried to think. but it was difficult to think with the image of 8 children locked in that hole. Lily, do you know who these people are? Their names? I don't know his name. But there's a man they call the Chief. He wears a gold ring, and he has a scar here. She ran her finger across her cheek. Edge recorded every detail. And there's another one, younger, thin. He's the one who brings food. And he's the one who takes the children upstairs when the men arrive. Edge had to take a deep breath to avoid punching the tree. Lily, listen. I'm going to get your sister out of there. And all the other children too. But I need help. I need to call people who will help me do this the right way. You said you weren't going to call the police. I'm not going to call the police. I'm going to call my club. She frowned. Club? Motorcycle club. People like me. People who know what to do when the law doesn't. Arrive in time. She remained silent, processing. Are they really going to help? They go. How do you know? Edge looked at her, and for the first time that night he let her see a little of his own history. Because I was also a child that nobody helped, Lily, and I vowed that when I grew up, I was going to be the kind of person who shows up. And at that moment, Lily held his hand, and she never let go again. Edge picked up his phone again. Still no signal. He looked around. The nearest road was about 3 kilometers away. If he left to look for a signal, he'd leave Lily alone. If he stayed, he wouldn't be able to call for backup. Shit! He put his phone away and looked back at the shed. The lights were on now. 3 windows, 2nd floor, shadows moving. Lily, I'm going to need to get closer. See how many men are in there. You stay here. Quiet. Promise? Promise you'll come back? I promise. She slowly let go of his hand. Edge stood up. He checked the knife in his boot. He started walking. He passed the fence again. Slower this time. Treading carefully, avoiding glass, avoiding dry branches. The moon was too bright. He hated it. He preferred total darkness. He reached the side of the warehouse. He leaned his back against the cold concrete wall. He waited. He heard voices inside. 2. No. 3. All male. He slid down the wall to the nearest window. He peeked. 3 men, sitting at an improvised table made of wooden crates. Cards on the table. Beer. Cigarettes. One of them was big. Very big, tattoo on his neck, gold ring on his right hand, scar on his left cheek. The boss. It had to be. The second one was thin, young, nervous. He shuffled through the cards hurriedly. He bit his fingernail. He was the one who brought food, the one who took the children. The third Edge was unknown, older, bald, dead stare, gun on his hip. Edge ducked down again. 3 men, armed. At least one of them, maybe all 3. And 8 children inside, maybe more. He needed to think. He needed a plan. He couldn't just go in shooting, not with children involved. And then he listened. An engine, coming from the road. High beams, pickup truck, pulling up in front of the warehouse. Edge cowered behind a pile of rubble. He watched. The driver's side door opened. A man got out. Tall. Expensive jacket, dress shoes, completely out of place. He knocked on the warehouse door, twice. Pause, 3 times. The door opened. The boss showed up. Late, he said. Traffic, the man in. The pickup truck replied. High-pitched voice, polite. I brought what you asked for. He went to the back of the truck. He opened it. He took out a suitcase. No, 2. Heavy ones. Edge saw when he handed them to the chief. Money. It had to be money. And the merchandise? The man in the pickup truck asked. Merchandise. Edge felt his stomach churn. Everything is ready. You can choose. The man in the pickup truck entered the shed. The door closed. Edge stood there. Still, processing what he had just seen. This wasn't just abuse, it wasn't just captivity, it was trafficking, child trafficking, and that man in the suit had just paid for one of them. He needed to act, now. But before he could move, he heard a scream, acute, desperate, feminine, child. And Edge Rider knew that time was up. Edge didn't think, he didn't plan, he just moved. He crossed the space between the rubble and the side door of the shed in seconds. He tested the doorknob. Locked. Of course. He stepped back. He looked around. Broken window. Small, wedgely enough to get through. He climbed up. Glass cut the palm of his hand. He didn't even feel it. He went in. He fell on the other side into a dark corridor. Smell of mold. Urine. Something worse. The screaming had stopped. But Edge heard voices coming from above. He followed. Rusty metal ladder. Each step made a noise. He tried to be silent. Impossible. Old tool hanging on the wall. He picked it up. Wheel wrench. Heavy. It would do. He went up to the second floor. Long hallway. Doors closed on both sides. Light coming from under one of them. Voices too. He approached, pressed his ear against it. I don't want this one. I want the other one. She's sick. I don't care. I'll pay extra. Silence. Okay, but you take her today. I don't want her here any longer. Edge clenched his teeth. He gripped the tire iron tighter. He could break down that door. You could burst in screaming. He could kill all three, 4 now, and then the police would come, arrest him. And the other children, who would find them, who would save them? He needed to think, but his body didn't want to think. His body wanted blood. And that's when he heard the voice, small, trembling. I want my sister. Emma. It had to be Emma. Shut up, brat. Somde tapa. Coro. Edge exploded. He kicked the door. Old wood, weak hinge. The door flew open. Edge stormed in like a hurricane. The tire iron hit the chief in the shoulder before he could react. He fell. He screamed. The man in the suit recoiled, eyes wide. The nervous, skinny man ran for the door. Edge let him. It didn't matter. The bald man pulled out his gun. Edge threw the tire iron. It hit his hand. The gun fell. Edge lunged forward, a straight punch to the chin. The bald man fell hard. The boss was still on the ground, clutching his shoulder. Bleeding. Edge crouched down. He picked up the bald man's gun. He pointed it at the chief. Where are the children? The chief spat blood. Go to hell. Edge didn't repeat the question. He just cocked the gun. Back room, the man in the suit shouted. Back room. Everyone in there. Edge looked at him. Coward. Pathetic. Get out of here. Now. And if I see you again, I'll kill you. The man ran. He tripped. He got up. He ran some more. He went down the stairs. The engine started. The tires screeched. He disappeared. Edge looked back at the chief. You're going to stay here. Quiet. And if you try anything, I'll be back. And it won't be quick. He tied up the chief with his own belt. He tied up the bald guy, too. He left them both on the floor. He went to the back room. Door locked. Padlock. He shot the padlock. Once. Metal flew. The door opened. And what he saw made him stop. 8 children, sitting on the floor, hugging each other, empty eyes, torn clothes, bruises, dirt. And in the middle of them, a little girl, dirty blonde hair, eyes just like lilies. Emma. And Edge Rider understood that that night had changed him forever. Edge lowered his weapon, put it back in his waistband, raised his hands slowly. Hey, he said softly. It's okay. I came to get you. None of the children moved. None spoke. They just stared, as if they didn't believe it, as if they'd heard this before and it had gone wrong. Edge swallowed hard. Emma, he tried. One of the girls lifted her head, the little one with blonde hair. Her. Your sister told me to come. Lily, she's outside, waiting for you. Emma's eyes lit up, but still, she didn't move. Is she okay? Her voice was a whisper. Okay. And I really want to see you. Emma looked around, at the other children. And them? Edge looked at each one. 8. Ages between 4 and 10, perhaps. All broken. All of you are going to leave here, now. And that's when everything fell apart. Because Edge heard it. Siren, still far away, but coming. Police. Someone had called. The man in the suit, maybe. Or the nervous, skinny one who ran away. It didn't matter. The police were coming. And if the police arrived, before Edge got the children out of there, it would turn into a lawsuit, an investigation, bureaucracy. And those children were going to a shelter, the system, an orphanage. Maybe foster care, maybe worse. Edge couldn't let that happen. Stand up, he said firmly. Everyone, now. The children stood up, slowly, frightened. He led them into the hallway. He went down the stairs. The chief was still tied up on the floor. He looked at Edge with hatred. You just signed your own death warrant, you... Edge kicked him in the mouth. Silence. He took the children outside, to the field, to the tree where Lily was waiting. When Lily saw Emma, she ran. The two hugged. They cried. Edge left. He looked at the other children, all trembling. The siren was getting closer. Edge picked up his cell phone. Weak signal. But there was one. He dialed a number. The only one that mattered. 3 rings. Answered. Edge? Razor, I need you. Now. Where? Highway 9. Abandoned warehouse. Old textile factory. Bring the whole club. Bring a van. Bring blankets. Bring food. Bring everything. How many? 8 children, and 2 that I've already picked up. 10 in total. Silence on the other end. Traffic. Police? On my way. Shit. I know, but we can't leave them here, Razor. We can't. Another silence. A longer one. We're going 20 minutes. It may be too late. Then hold on to them. And Edge. He speaks. You did the right thing. The call dropped. Edge put his cell phone away. He looked at the children, then at the shed. The siren was almost there, blue and red lights flashing in the distance. He had 20 minutes, maybe less. And in those 20 minutes, Edge Rider had to decide whether to trust the system or become the kind of man the law hunts. Police lights illuminated the entrance to the shed. 2 patrol cars, 4 officers. Edge saw everything from where he was, hidden behind the bush with the 10 children. Lily held Emma. The others were crouched, quiet. Edge put his finger to his lips. They understood. No sound. He watched the police enter the shed. Guns drawn, shouts of, "Police, don't move!" And then silence. They had found the chief and the bald man, tied up, wounded. In minutes it would turn into chaos. Edge looked at his cell phone. 15 minutes since the call. 5 until Razor arrived. If he arrived at all. And then he heard it. The rumble. Deep, resonant, multiple. It wasn't one motorcycle. It was 10. Maybe more. Coming down the road. Slow, but steady. The children were startled by the noise. Edge signaled for calm. They're friends, he said quietly. The headlights cut through the night. 1 Harley, 2, 5, 10, 12. They stopped in formation at the side of the road. Engines shutting off. Men getting off. Women too. Leather, chains, tattoos. But in their faces, Edge saw what he always saw. Loyalty, purpose, controlled anger. Razor was the first to approach. Tall, broad, beard down to his chest, scar across his forehead. He looked at the children, then at Edge. You're not kidding, he said. I never joked. Razor nodded. He gestured. 3 women from the club approached. They carried blankets, water, chocolate bars. They knelt in front of the children, gentle smiles, holding hands. Hi, my loves, one of them said. I'm here to help you. Everything's all right now. The children began to relax. Gradually, they accepted the blankets, the water. Some even took the chocolate. Razor pulled Edge aside. The police are inside. We can't just grab these children and leave. I know. So what's the plan? Edge thought. We wait for them to take the bandits out. Then we'll show up. Say we found the children. Say we were passing by and heard a noise. They won't believe it. It doesn't matter. What matters is that the children are safe, and that those sons of bitches go to jail. Razor looked back at the shed. What if they want to take the kids into the system? Then we fight. Razor smiled. A crooked smile. Dangerous. I like how you think. The police officers left the warehouse. Pushing the chief and the bald man who were handcuffed, they threw them into the patrol cars. They began to search the area, flashlights, radios, calling for backup. Edge waited for them to spread out. Then he stood up, slowly, hands raised. Hey! He shouted. Here! The flashlights turned to him. 4, 6, guns pointed. On the ground! Now! Edge obeyed. He lay face down, hands behind his head. Razor. And the others stayed where they were, without moving. The women protecting the children. One of the police officers approached, young, nervous. He pressed his knee into Edge's back, cold handcuffs. Who are you? What are you doing here? My name is Edge Rider. I found these children. They were trapped inside. The police officer looked at the children, then at the shed, then back at Edge. You invaded a crime scene. I saved 10 children. The policeman didn't answer. He just pulled Edge up, dragged him to the patrol car, thrown him in the back seat, slammed the door. Edge looked through the bars, saw Razor talking to another policeman, open hands, calm tone, saw the women from the club with the children, saw Lily and Emma hugging, and then he saw what he didn't want to see. More vehicles arriving. Social assistants, uniforms, clipboards. They went straight to the children. Edge Rider understood that he had done his part. But the fight wasn't over. Edge spent 6 hours at the police station. Handcuffs, interrogation room, fluorescent light burning his eyes. 2 detectives, one older, tired, the other young, arrogant. They asked the same questions 50 times. Edge gave the same answers. He found the girl on the road. She asked for help. He went. He saw children locked up. He acted. He saved them. He called for backup. The end. But they didn't believe him, of course not, because the story didn't make sense. A random biker drives down a road, finds a child, breaks into a warehouse, knocks out 3 drug dealers, calls a biker gang, and waits for the police to arrive. Who does that? Someone who has nothing to hide. Or someone very stupid. Edge wasn't stupid, but he also had nothing to hide, so he waited, because he knew that eventually someone with a brain would come along and understand. And it appeared. The door opened. A woman entered. In her early 40s. Gray suit. Badge on her belt. Detective. But different. She didn't have the look of someone who wanted to screw anyone over. She had the look of someone who wanted to understand. Get out, she told the 2 detectives. They hesitated. I said, get out. They left. She sat down. She placed a folder on the table. She opened it. Papers, photos, reports. My name is Sarah Kellerman. Crimes against children. I pursued this trafficking ring for 8 months. 8 months building a case, gathering evidence, preparing a warrant. And you destroyed my investigation in one night. Edge said nothing. She continued. But you also saved 10 children I didn't even know existed. And you caught 3 guys I was looking for, including the chief, who's wanted in 4 states. She paused. She looked at Edge. So I don't know whether to thank you or arrest you. Edge finally spoke. You do what you have to do, but I don't regret it. You shouldn't have. You did the right thing, in the wrong way, but the right thing. She closed the folder. She stood up. You're free. For now. But don't leave town, and if I need you, you'll show up. And the children. Sarah stopped at the door. Social services assessment, probably temporary shelter while we look for families. What if I can't find it? System. Edge clenched his fists. Lily and Emma have no one. Dead mother, no father, no relatives. I know. I read the report. They can't go into the system. Sarah turned around. And what do you suggest? That you stay with them? You're a homeless biker who just crashed into a crime scene. I was the only one who showed up when they needed me. Silence. Sarah sighed. Look, I understand. But that's not how it works. There's a process, there are rules, there's bureaucracy that doesn't save anyone. She didn't answer. She just looked at Edge, and he saw something in her eyes. Agreement, frustration, anger at the system itself. I'll do what I can, she said, but I'm not making any promises. She left. Edge stayed there, alone, handcuffs still on his wrists, because no one had taken them off. He looked at the ceiling, took a deep breath, felt the weight of having saved lives but not being able to protect them from what came next. The door opened again. Razor. How did you get in? Edge asked. I have my contacts. Come on, let's go. Did they take off the handcuffs? Razor grinned. He pulled a key from his pocket. Old, rusty. He opened Edge's handcuffs as if by magic. Where did you get that? Don't ask. Edge stood up. He rubbed his wrists. He left the room. The police station was empty, 3 in the morning. They passed the reception area, the parking lot, motorcycles waiting. The whole club was there. And now? Razor asked. Edge looked up at the sky. Stars, thousands of them, beautiful, cold, indifferent. Now we wait. And if the system fails these children... Edge paused. He looked at Razor. We act again. And Razor nodded, because he knew Edge Rider wasn't bluffing. 2 weeks later, Edge was in a seedy motel on the outskirts of Austin. Small room, hard bed. The smell of old cigarettes permeated the walls. He hadn't slept properly since that night. Not because the police were after him. They'd left him alone. Case closed. Drug dealers arrested. Children saved. A happy ending. For them. But not for Edge. Because he knew what had happened to Lily and Emma. Sarah had called. Heavy voice. They went into the system. Temporary foster family. Separated. Separated. 2 sisters. Who had been through hell together. Who had clung to each other to survive. Separated. Standard procedure, Sarah had said. Families prefer 1 child at a time. Siblings complicate adoption. Edge had hung up without answering, because he was speechless. Only anger. Anger at a system that called separating sisters standard procedure. He picked up his cell phone. He dialed. He answered on the 2nd ring. Edge, I was already expecting you to call. It was Razor. I need addresses. Addresses for what? From the houses, where they put Lily and Emma. Silence. Edge, I'm not going to do anything illegal. I just want to know if they're okay. Another silence. A longer one. Okay, I can do it, but it will take some time. How long? 2 days. 2 days. Edge hung up. He threw his phone on the bed. He looked in the mirror. Grown beard, sunken eyes. He looked exactly like what he was. Someone who had seen too much, done too much, and didn't know how to stop. He ran his hand over his face. He went to the window. The motel was on a busy avenue. Trucks passing by, cars, lights, normal life, normal people, living normal lives. Meanwhile, 2 little girls were separated, alone, probably crying, probably wondering why nobody would let them be together. And Edge couldn't do anything. He punched the wall, once, twice, 3 times. The skin on his knuckles cracked. Blood. He didn't even feel it. The cell phone rang. Unknown number. Edge answered. Hello? Mr. Ryder? A female voice. Formal. It wasn't Sarah. Who is it? My name is Amanda Torres. I work in social services. I'm in charge of Lily's case. Edge sat up in bed. His heart was racing. What happened? Is she okay? She ran away. The world stopped. How did he escape? The family that was taking care of her said she left in the middle of the night. She left a note. It said she was going to look for you. Edge stood up. When? It's been 8 hours. 8 o'clock. A 7-year-old child. Alone. On the street. For 8 hours. Did you call the police? Yes, but they still haven't found her. I called because I read the report. I saw that you were the one who found her the first time. I thought that maybe she would try to come after you. Where was the house? Amanda gave the address. Edge mentally noted it down. And Emma? Where's her sister? Emma is safe. In another house. On the other side of town. Does Lily know about this? No, we thought it best not to tell them to make the adjustment easier. Edge clenched his jaw. You hid from a traumatized child where the only family she has is. Mr. Ryder, I understand that. Edge turned it off. He grabbed his jacket, the motorcycle keys. He left the room. The Harley was parked under the stairs. He mounted it. He started it. The engine roared, and he left, quickly, because he knew where Lily was going. She was going to the only place where she had ever felt safe. She was going to the road. Edge drove for 3 hours, Highway 9, the same road where it had all begun. He passed the shed, now isolated. Yellow tape, a sign of crime, abandoned again, but this time truly empty. He passed the tree, where he had hidden the children. Nothing. He passed the shoulder, where he had repaired the motorcycle, where Lily had hit the headlight. Nothing. He stopped. He turned off the motorcycle. Absolute silence. Only wind, only stars. He took off his helmet. He looked around. Darkness. And then he saw a small figure on the other side of the road, sitting on the edge, legs dangling, a pink blanket wrapped around its shoulders. Lily. Edge crossed, slowly. He didn't want to scare her. She raised her head when she heard the footsteps, swollen eyes, face dirty with dirt and tears. I knew you were coming, she said. Edge crouched down in front of her. How did you know? Because you promised. He didn't remember promising to come back. But maybe she'd heard it differently. Maybe a promise didn't need words. Maybe it was just the way you looked at me. The way you acted. Lily. The social worker called me. Everyone's looking for you. I don't want to go back. I know. They won't let me see Emma. I know. They said it's better this way. But it's not. It's not better. Her voice broke, and she began to cry. It wasn't the cry of a child seeking attention. It was the cry of someone who had given up, of someone who couldn't take it anymore. Edge felt his chest tighten. He pulled Lily into a hug. She clung to him, as if he were the only solid thing in a world that wouldn't stop crumbling. I'll sort this out, Edge said quietly. I swear. I don't know yet, but I will. He picked up his cell phone. He called Amanda. She answered on the first ring. Mr. Ryder? I found her. Thank God. Where? Highway 9 near the old warehouse. I'll send a patrol car to pick it up. No, I'll take her. Mr. Ryder, the protocol doesn't work with this child. She needs someone she trusts. I'll take her. Silence. Okay, but you take it straight to the main office. I'll send you the address. And Emma, I want them to see each other. That's not it. Amanda, listen. These girls lost their mother. They were trafficked, locked up, abused, separated. They've already lost everything. Don't take sisters away from each other, too. Another silence, a longer one. I'll see what I can do. Edge hung up. He looked at Lily. Come on, let's go see your sister. Her eyes lit up. Really? In truth? She got on the motorcycle. She hugged Edge from behind. He started the engine. And they left. Not back to the system, not back to their adoptive home, but to a place where two sisters could be together. Even if just for an hour, even if just for 10 minutes, because sometimes all you have is 10 minutes. And you make them count. When they arrived at the office, Emma was already there, sitting in a chair that was too big for her, swinging her legs. When she saw Lily, she jumped. She ran. The two hugged in the middle of the hallway. They cried. They laughed. They clung to each other as if the world could tear them apart again at any second. And Edge stood there, still, watching, feeling something he hadn't felt in a long time. Hope. But hope is a fragile thing. And he knew the fight wasn't over. Edge was sitting in a hard plastic chair in the social services office. Lily and Emma were on each other's laps in a playroom on the other side of the glass. He could see them. They could see him. Amanda came in. She was carrying papers, lots of papers. Mr. Ryder, we need to talk. He can talk. She sat down. She sighed. These girls' situation is complicated. No living relatives, no support network, history of severe trauma. No family wants to adopt them both together. Then find one who wants it. It's not that simple. Adoptive families go through rigorous evaluation. The process takes months. And even then, siblings are difficult. Double the responsibility. Double the trauma to deal with. Edge looked at her. So you're going to separate them? I don't want to, but it might be what's best for them in the long run. Best according to whom? According to you? According to the system? Because I guarantee that if you ask them, that's not what they'll say. Amanda lowered her eyes. I know, but I don't make the rules. Then change the rules. I can't. Edge stood up. He went to the window. He looked at the girls. They were drawing, something with crayons. He couldn't see what, but he saw their smiles, small, fragile, but real. What if I wanted to adopt them? Amanda raised her head, surprised. You? Mr. Ryder, with all due respect, you don't have a fixed address. You don't have formal employment. You don't have a track record that shows stability. The system would never approve. So the system prefers to separate two sisters rather than leave them with someone who truly cares. It's not a matter of caring. It's a matter of security, structure, capacity to provide. Edge turned. He looked straight at Amanda. I provide. My way. Maybe not the way it's on paper, but it works. Mr. Ryder. The door opened. Sarah entered. The detective. She looked at Edge, then at Amanda. I need to talk to him, alone. Amanda hesitated, but she left. Sarah closed the door. Are you thinking of adopting these girls? She said. It wasn't a question. Bowl. You know you won't succeed. I know. Sarah crossed her arms. Then why try? Because someone has to fight for them. And if it's not me, who will it be? Sarah remained silent. She looked at the ground, then back at Edge. I have a proposal. Edge waited. Are you familiar with the therapeutic home program? Families receive children with severe trauma, temporarily. While they recover, they receive psychological and financial support, constant supervision. And if you knew someone willing to do this for these girls, maybe the system would accept it, especially if that person had a history of working with at-risk children. Edge frowned. Who? Sarah smiled. Small, tired. Me. Edge blinked. You? Me. Before becoming a detective, I worked in a shelter for 5 years. I'm certified. I have a big house. I have time. And I'm angry enough at the system to want to do things differently. Why would you do that? Because I saw you in that shed. I saw what you did. And I know that if there were more people like you, fewer children would go through what those girls went through. Edge didn't know what to say, so he just asked, "And me? Where do I fit into all this?" "You stay close, you visit, you're part of their support network. You show them that not every adult disappears." Edge looked back out the window, at the girls. They had stopped drawing. Lily was looking at him, as if she knew something important was being decided. "Do they stay together?" Edge asked. "They stay together." He took a deep breath. He nodded. "Then do it." And for the first time in weeks, Edge Rider felt that maybe, just maybe, the world wasn't completely lost. 3 months later, Edge was standing in front of a house. Small, white fence, well-kept garden, swing in the yard. He was holding a present, wrapped in colorful paper. Unicorn drawings. He wasn't good at wrapping presents, but he had tried. You knocked on the door. Sarah opened it, smiled. "They're waiting for you." Edge walked in, the smell of cake, soft music, and then he saw Lily and Emma running down the hall, shouting, laughing, arguing over a doll. Normal. So normal that Edge almost didn't recognize them. When Lily saw Edge, she stopped. She smiled. "You came." "Of course I came. I promised, didn't I?" She ran. She hugged his leg. Emma came after her, shy, but smiling. Edge bent down. He gave them the present. "It's meant to be shared, no fighting." They opened it. Inside were 2 helmets, small, pink and purple, with stars. "When are we going to ride a motorcycle?" Lily asked. "When you're old enough, and when Sarah lets you." Sarah crossed her arms. A smile played at the corner of her mouth. "We'll see." The girls ran back to the room. Edge stayed there, standing, hands in his pockets, looking at the house, the walls, the photos, a life, structure, something he never had, something I never wanted. But looking at it, he understood. He understood that saving someone wasn't just about getting them out of danger. It was about giving them what comes next. And he couldn't give that. But he knew who could. "Thank you," he said, softly. Sarah leaned against the wall. "You saved them, Edge. I'm just finishing the job." "No, you're doing the hardest part." She didn't answer. She just looked at him. And Edge saw in her eyes the same weariness he saw in his own, the weariness of someone fighting against a broken system, and sometimes winning, sometimes. He got off. He got on his motorcycle. He looked back. Lily was at the window, waving. He waved back. He started the engine, and he drove off. Highway 9. Same road. Always the same road. Because that's what he did. He drove, he searched, he found those no one else was looking for. And as he piloted, he felt the wind on his face. And for the first time in a long time, it wasn't just wind. It was relief. Because he knew. Lily and Emma were going to be okay. Not perfectly, not without scars, but okay, together, safe, loved, and that was all. Edge Rider wasn't a hero. He never wanted to be. But that night when a child bumped into his motorcycle headlight, he became what she needed. And sometimes, that's enough. If this story touched you, if you believe that every child deserves someone to show up, leave a like now. Subscribe to the channel, because there are more stories like this, and each one of them matters. But not all stories end like that. There's one that ended with a biker choosing between saving one life or avenging another, and you need to hear it. Click on the next video, now.